Welcome back to the next episode. Thank you for joining me. We're building a new farm which we need to get up and running. Hopefully, it's December already, so we need to build that quick. Let's commit to a load more builders. Let's go full builders, and we need to, good, we've had our guys doing the wood cutting. Let's hire another worker in each of these places so we can really maximise what we're storing in our warehousing. And what's this person doing? Oh, taking some building materials over. That looks like a bit of clay over to the oil workshop. Okay, let's go full speed. Take our guys off the fishery and off the boatyard because they can't do anything there in the winter. And we'll make sure we've taken everyone off the farm because nothing's happening there in the winter either. Unless they're maybe moving goods back and forth from other places. Let's increase workers in our warehouses, and we can add on the resource supply by labourer for cart and by hand, and it can really maximise what you move in and out of the warehouse. Look at the people just rush in there. Look. So, but make sure you remember to take them off as well, because we don't want everyone focusing on that when they're wanting to be doing the gathering of the farms and the fishing and everything else. So we've built our oil workshop and we've got our weaver's workshop. Let's hire someone in each of those and start weaving our hemp. In fact, let's go full weaver and full oil. And what we'll do is we'll store the oil once we get some in the trading post, and we want to store a minimum of 20 because it looks like that's the size of the trades. And so if we store 20, we'll have enough for a full trade. We're just filling up sunflowers into the oil workshop from this farm. We've got a lot of sunflower, and look, we can see we're starting to fill up the weaver's workshop with hemp, and they're making some textiles already. And what we need is another building to where is it? It's the tailor's workshop, and it will weave the textiles into clothes. So let's place that down here right next to the spin it around so the entrance is the right way around. And we'll put it right outside the workshop for the textiles. There we go, leave a bit of space, but they'll be nice and close to service each other. And you can sell the clothes once we start making them in one of these marketplaces. And here's a spare spot there, but I'll probably need to start or build another marketplace, maybe back here or with the other two. And for the rest of the goods, there we go. We've got some sunflower oil. Now we've got the oil, it'll show up on this list for the trading post, and we'll just go 20 on that. As soon as we've got 20, probably want to halt production and save the rest for food. And actually what you use sunflower for is feeding animals, and I don't know if we'll have enough sunflower to save for animals this season, but we certainly will for next season, I imagine. And a reminder to self, this farm is out of action next season completely. All of its fields are fallow. Look, it's on there already, and then they'll go back over to producing wheat. Yeah, we've got 13 cows, 7 cows there, so reproduction does completely halt for the winter season. A lot of things shut down in the winter, but it gives you a chance to do other things. So what we want to do is put some things in this granary that basically animals would have. So buckwheat is one of those. The other thing that animals eat is potato. 10 of those, particularly pigs. We will store sunflower and also wheat, and that's what all the animals eat. Now the pigs will eat all 4, but the chickens will eat everything but potatoes. So always remember, actually a good tip is to feed your pigs a little bit more potato than everything else, because that's the one crop that the chickens don't eat. So very good idea to keep a really sharp eye on your food, especially when you start having animals. So we've got our granary there. Let's place down another production building, which we're going to have as a pigsty right next to the granary. In fact, let's swivel it around there. It'll look pretty nice there, and we can have our chicken coop next to it up here. And having both of those right next to the granary is good, really good thing to do, so they don't have very far at all to go for the food to restock. We do not want the animals to run out of food because they die. Put the chicken coop there, and what we'll do is, like we've done with every other building, we'll put a well right next door to them as well. Okay, fantastic. So we're building our production area, and there are quite a few more buildings to go in there actually. And yeah, I'm going to add in another field for this forestry. So once we run out of wood, we want a sustainable supply. Put in another field. Let's start populating that. We want more fields after that as well. Maybe we can put in a couple somewhere. We'll find a place. And actually something that we haven't built yet as well is our chapel. The entranceway is that way, so let's put our chapel right in the middle of this square, see if we can make a bit of a thing out of it. Here we go. We can build some decorations around it and see how we can use that area, maybe some bushes and some hedges and some benches, and fence off an area for our chapel. And I'm just wondering if we've built any burial plots yet. No, we haven't. So once people die, they just need a burial plot to be in. We'll put a few under these trees at the end on this peninsula. It's a really nice area. Oh, and we have had someone die already, because they've just taken up that burial spot as soon as we've filled it. Just put them in amongst the trees. That's a nice place to have a little bit of a graveyard, I think. Nice private area for our citizens to contemplate what's happened and view their dead. There's our first burial, Levko Skovoroda. 1639 to 1726, one of our founding members, and your sacrifice will be remembered. Wow, quick, let's hire full people on the farm. Oh, not on this farm because that's all fallow. We can even get rid of that worker, but let's go full people on this farm. And actually we need this farm building as soon as possible so we can get that up and running as well. Let's go full fish, and let's just slow time down slightly and get rid of some of our builders, but not too many, because we want to finish that farm we're building and see if we can get it up and running. I'm just going to have a look at the wood situation. We've got 300 odd, so this is the technique. We can get rid of those workers, we don't need them. And let's change the resource supply away from the labourers as well, so they're not being overused. And get rid of the workers there. Just really clean down our workers so they can focus on the farming and the fishing. We've got our cows out into pasture. We've got full fishermen, and let's just get a boatman as well, just in case any of those boats break down. Looking good. So we've got a newborn already in this shed. We've got 8 and then 14 over here. So if we'd stuck to our original shed, we'd have had 22, and so we would have had to start slaughtering them, or we may have just lost them. So actually, let's I wonder if we can put a slaughterhouse in here, right next to let's put a slaughterhouse in this area anyway. Spin it round. Slaughterhouse there next to the cows. Oh, it fits in there very nicely. Let's do it. Let's just have it there. We need it sooner rather than later, I think, before long. Now, once the cows start getting slaughtered, they're going to be producing hides, and we need a tannery. We're going to need a tannery to process that. So let's put the tannery up here. Maybe we should have put the slaughterhouse up here as well, but it's fine down there as well. We could have another one if we need it for the pigs up here. Let's get our tannery up and running. So it's that way. Let's spin it round and have it in a good orientation. There we go. Now I've heard the bell of a trader. Let's check out what they've got. Oh, live chickens. Now that would have been useful if we'd built our chicken coop already, but we haven't quite. Let's go back up to full speed. And we need to be building that farm really. We're in March. Everyone is planting these fields, so we'll have full fields for this one. And if you can see our timeline here, we're going to be fallow next year, so this farm will be completely inactive. But look, everyone can completely focus on this farm. This one's completely empty. We're keeping our manager to maintain the crop rotation, but we really don't need any workers there, not really. I think people can still go in and take stuff. Presume they can. Anyway, just in case they can't, I'll employ one worker. $3.9 fish. Just have a look at what we're selling. So we sold, yeah, quite a lot of buckwheat flour and potato last year. We opened up this additional market stall on the other side of town. Oh, look. All of our carts need repairing. Let's quickly hire a carpenter. That will probably be slowing everything up, and maybe why the building of this has been held up as well. Although there's a cart there. So we've got one cart in working order. How's that working? There we go. We're repairing carts anyway. Okay, great. Carpenter back up and running. We'll just leave one carpenter on. That's the real challenge in this game. You've got to make sure you keep the balance of everyone employed. Bit of a tricky one. Sometimes you forget things like that one. Carpenter. Looks like all our fishermen are out. One more to hire on the fishing. Got enough wood. We've got 378 wood for building, and we've got quite a few buildings we're looking to get through. Could do with another smithy, although there's 188 nails there. Oh, we just employed one. Town hall, got 3 builders, so we're really driving through the building. Quite often I've left it just down to 2 builders, but we're really driving forward on the builders. Let's have a look at our food situation. So we've just got one farm on the go this year. 4 fish, 22 buckwheat, 30 hemp, 5 sunflower oil. Now I wonder if we've filled it all up in the yeah, our trading post. We've filled our trading post with sunflower oil. Looks like we've processed all the sunflowers as well, so we can take our person off the oil workshop. Put someone into the granary, and they can start taking stuff into the granary for when we've got our pigsty and our chicken coop. So that's pretty cool. That's something to look forward to, getting some more animals in and building up production. But in the meantime, production with the cows is driving forward. We've got 15 in our original farm, our original cow shed. Look, we've got our farm built. Wonder if we can quickly plant some stuff. It's only May. Let's see what we can do. I'll just quickly do this. And you've got to leave enough room for your fields. Let's just add loads of fields and see if we can get some sort of production up and running this year. It will be a big help having 2 farms rather than 1. I'm sure would do something for our food situation. Probably be alright without it, but well, why suffer? Why risk suffering when you don't need to? Here we go. And I think very soon we'll be getting some oxen in our farms and hiring some ploughs. That's a really good thing to do because it just really increases production. Hire a farmer and a worker. Now let's get... So we've got a luxury farm bringing in the sunflower and hemp. We've got a standard farm doing all the food stuff. Let's make this maybe a standard farm as well. We'll have wheat this year on 3 of them. And so let's activate those. We need a manager to kick in for the crop rotation, and let's do potato for these 2 because we do have a bit of an excess of buckwheat. So let's activate those, and we can fully build the farm for next year as well. That's cool. We can do that. Got a few workers to start planting it, and if we remove a few people from this farm, they might be able to bounce over to that farm just to help with the initial planting. What are we saying here? No manager there to handle crop rotation. There we go, we've employed a manager again. Bit short on workers. Prioritise gathering over there. People are really piling into that farm to get the sowing done. and we've got no one, well, kind of got a caretaker crew in the original farm and in the middle farm just while we're getting that third farm up and running, and we just got it up and running just in time, I think. We'll get some sort of a harvest. Full fish, but with all the people we've got in our town or village now, we'll certainly be getting through all of that fish and be maybe even considering building another fishery soon. Certainly once we start another row of housing, which I think I'll lay down the beginning of the houses so we can see where the next lot will be. I mean, we could start it up here or down here. Maybe if we kind of plot the line of this tree line so that, yeah, if we could put the housing up here, so we could always spread it down as well. And if we have a little bit of a gap at this end, we'll have a space for like marketplaces and water, and maybe even some benches and things. So right, let's start our new village section up there. It's nice and close to this section down here where we've got a bit of an industrial area, and of course they'll be close to a granary as well, so we can pull food for the marketplaces. I think that's probably a good location, and we'll really build that up and get our farm going. And you can already see how the whole sort of town is developing now. Once we get some of the initial infrastructure in, we'll have the basics and the hopefully a bit of every industry for what is the beginning of a small town that we can then really expand out on. And look at all this additional space that we've got. The rest of the map is ripe for expansion once we've got the initial bit. We've constructed our tailor's workshop, and we've got people hard at work building, making our textiles from the hemp. Got 2.5 textiles already, so we can sack a couple of workers from there and employ a couple of workers for the tailor's workshop. We don't have anyone in our oil workshop, and in fact we can make empty the oil workshop if we just store all of the sunflower oil here. We could just say 100 sunflower oil because it's not active. And the sunflowers we will have in our granary, stored in our granary, so yeah, we'll make that empty. And yes, we really do want to make that empty. We've got a trader come in. Live chickens, oh yes, they're after some sunflower oil. Fantastic timing. So we're going to sell our first batch of sunflower oil. The maximum we can sell is 20, and they're offering us 360 pounds for it. Dollars, 360. That's a huge amount for our coffers, because we've only got 170 at the moment. We're going to keep. So they're after sunflower as well, but we don't want to sell our sunflowers. We want to really keep processing it into sunflower oil, or keep that as food for our animals once we get them in. And they're offering wheat and live chickens. We'll take the chickens once we build the chicken coop, and we'll have the money just in time, making that very nice trade of some 20 sunflower oil. We'll have the money to buy all the pigs and chickens we'll need. Chickens reproduce very rapidly, so you don't really need to buy many. But pigs, the more you can buy, the merrier. Like with our cows, because we bought 3 of each originally, didn't we? 3 cows, 3 bulls, and then we bought a few more to top it up, and that was a good thing. That's really got us going in our production. We've got 16 in our original shed, and we've got 9 in our new shed. So they've had a few more babies. And I think, where is our slaughterhouse in the queue? Yeah, it's quite far away, but I think we've got time. I mean, if we get up to the 20 mark in our original shed, we could always put 1 or 2 over to the new one. And that's fine. Maintain capacity until our slaughterhouse is built. Looking forward to the slaughterhouse being built, but we will have to increase the number of market stalls we've got so we can start selling things like beef. If we have a look here on the list, beef for the cows, and once we get the chickens, it will be chicken eggs and chicken meat. And once we get the pork, the pigs, I mean, we'll have pork and sallow. Sallow is the pig fat. And look, we've got the labourers really delivering the supply to the marketplaces. So actually we can take off labourer by hands and maintain labourer by cart. Make sure we've still got that carpenter. Yeah, we've got a carpentry and we've got our 4 carts. And if you click on the cart park here, it does show that quite a lot of the carts are being used. So I think I will just build another cart park, and then we can order some more carts, so we can just make sure we maintain our transport capacity, our transport network. Just put that down there, right in the middle of everything, really. Ah, look, we've emptied everything out, so that's fine. And so we'll see sunflower in the granary, and they've already started bringing over the buckwheat, the potato and the wheat, so it's nice and close for when our animals need feeding. Let's just build up our capacity back in this farm, and we've got full capacity in that farm. Let's see how our fields are doing. Very quickly approaching ripeness, so I can't see any wheat in any of these fields. Okay, so that's a really good job that we put some wheat in this new farm. Really good job indeed. In fact, they're ripening as well, so we only got a little bit of growth in these fields, but we got something. It's all ripening at once, and yep, we've got our labourers going in already now to supply production for the harvest, bringing the harvest in. Let's get all of our workers away from these extra industries, even the granary. Let's make sure we've got full workers on our harvest. Yep, let's take you away from the thatchery. We'll keep you guys on at the fishing dock, because I think the more fish the merrier. It doesn't look like we're maintaining any sort of stock of fish, especially through the winter. We've got 5.3 fish now, but that gets quickly used up. 35 wheat. That's fantastic. 4 sunflower, 20 potatoes. We're in a really good situation with our food now, and 17 buckwheat. And actually, as we have a bit more time to sort through the food, we'll be able to maybe tweak the crop rotation so we don't end up with so much of one and not much of the other, and we can start thinking about what we can start selling to people as well. Short of firewood actually, so let's get the firewood back on. We're storing it in this warehouse, but there's none there, and there's none in our forestry, so let's get on that. One worker is hired at the forestry, but we need 2. There we go, we've got 2. Okay, they'll start bringing firewood in. And actually what we need for the tannery is going to be bark and things like lime and salt, so we'll need to make some trades for that sort of stuff. But I do think that once you see, if I was to send envoys out to all these places and start to try and build up lime and salt and whatever else we need for the tannery, because the tannery isn't built yet, I don't think it will necessarily offer us those items, or if it does, it would be much less likely. I think once you've got something, for example like the tannery, it will be more likely to be offering us those goods for trade. So we'll wait for the tannery to be built, and then we'll go out to the world and we'll see if we can get all the components for it. But in the meantime, if we're offered it, we'll certainly take it. 17 in our original cowshed and 10 in our new one. So really getting production ramped up on the cows, and we're probably at a position where we could build a new cowshed. I'll probably do that actually, but I am quite keen to be taking some ox over to the farm as well. We'll put a cowshed here at a funny angle, so we've got the space hopefully for pasture in front of it, and we'll have a couple of... we've built our pigsty. Let's go and buy some pigs as soon as possible. Let's put someone in there to work. Have we got full workers here? Yeah, we do. And what have we got up here? We've got a few labourers up there. Less need to maybe have the split because it's got fewer fields in that second farm, or really we should call it the third farm. But mid-September, we've got until December for that harvest. Once we've got a worker here, we're going to be bringing in water. There we go, water's started, but water is probably being brought in from quite far away. We'll have a well being built in the middle of everyone soon as well. We've got our chicken coop being built. Oh, look. Hey, well, I stand corrected. We can buy salt. I'll buy 10 salt. I'll buy 10 lime. I don't need any cows, and I won't buy any potatoes. And but what they are offering is to buy wheat, shoes, buckwheat and clothes. Now if we'd built any shoes, or if we'd created any shoes so far, that would have been a really good opportunity to make a bit of money there. But we will before long, because we've got our slaughterhouse being built and we've got quite a few cows. We are building another cow shed just in case we can increase production. So we'll see. And actually what else we need for our cow shed is the hay barracks. I think having 3 hay barracks next to each cow shed is a good idea. Mainly because it doesn't cost you anything to build them, and so it gives you plenty of capacity. We'll build 1, 2, and we'll make sure we're not blocking anything off, so 3 around the side there. And I will continue putting a well next to every cow shed. It may be a bit overkill, but I think you know, I'd rather guarantee the survival of the cows rather than risk anything whatsoever going wrong. And actually in this space behind the cow shed and next to the others, we've got probably room to put in some more hay dryers. Yeah, there's one can fit in there and one up here, so we'll do that. Holding down the shift key, 1 there and 1 there. And I think that's plenty enough to be supplying all of the hay barracks, I think. That's a really nice area for our cows and a really nice sort of production zone at the bottom there. Really good use of space, really. And we've got our fishing production there as well. So the fish and the cows down there, and our main sort of animal production up here. Let's have a closer look at this pigsty. This is really important. We've got our worker there bringing in water and wheat, and they'll be bringing what they can from the granary, but you can see they've cleared out the wheat already because we don't really have many workers there bringing the wheat in, but they'll be getting the wheat from the farm, so they're going further to the farm to get the wheat in. But once we've got our granary up and running properly, they'll just be going next door to the granary, so it'll be a lot quicker and efficient. Oh, chickens! And they're after sunflower, flour and iron ore. Well, the only thing we need there is to buy the chickens they're offering. Now, is our chicken coop going to be built in time? It's being built now. The trader's there for another 19 more days, and our chicken coop is built. Let's hire as many workers as we can. Resource supply will go max by labourer by hands and labourer by cart, and also we'll bring in, as well as wheat, we're going to bring in buckwheat and sunflower, but we'll bring in 2 of each because we don't want to oversupply. But you can see there it's all the crops except for potatoes for the chickens. And actually, if we look here, if we do 2 of every crop for the pigs and then go say 4 of the potatoes, we're kind of loading more potatoes into the pigs, and it just gives us a better chance of survival for the pigs if we run out of one or the other, and a better balance. Okay, we've got food, we've got water for our chickens, and so let's order some. Let's just order like, I don't know, like 4 at a cost of 48. Deal. And as soon as they come in, what we'll do is, see up here at the top you can set a hatchlings limit. Let's maximise that so that we keep all of the eggs up to the amount of 30, and they will turn right into chickens, and we'll very quickly build up production on the chicken coop, which is very exciting. We'll get rid of a couple of workers now that we do have some food, but we need to be very aware now. What have we got left to bring in? Still got a harvest to bring in. We need to maintain 1 worker on each of the animal places. Don't need the granary necessarily right now, although it would be a nice to have. And we're running out of food variety. We'll address that in a moment. They're complaining about food variety but not actual food. We've got our salt has come in. What we're going to do is to preserve salt for being used for the tanning process once we start slaughtering cows and stuff. We'll reduce the number of dried fish down to a couple, and also on our resource supply you can see here we've got the option of keeping salt in stock, so we'll just keep 1 salt in stock, but that does default to 4, so you don't want to be holding all of your salt into the fishing dock. keeping the rest of the salt here in the trading post, so it's come in and we've got 10 lime and 8 salt. Really we want to be buying more salt when we get the chance, but just not being too greedy at the moment, just trying to maintain our money supply. We've got 356 pounds or dollars. We've got something coming in. Is that our chickens? Ah, so they're coming into... Interesting, they didn't go into the trading post, they dropped them off at the chicken coop. So we've got 4 chickens, and let's just see. Ooh, winter is here. Did we get everything in from harvest? Well, we've got a ton of food anyway. Cool. Okay, well, let's reduce everything down to 1 worker. The reason I do 1 worker and leave 1 is that even though you may have gathered the sunflower harvest, for example, it still takes a bit of processing. And also, part of me wonders whether or not they take some of the food to things like granaries and other places, and are part of the movement of the place. This farm's going to be fallow. The one in the middle, our secondary farm, is going to be totally fallow next year. This farm's going to be completely active, and our new farm is going to be totally active as well. And let's add in the additional fields that we're missing, and we'll activate those, and we will be ready for a new year. Ooh, that's a bit wonky. Come on, we can do better than that. There we go. And 1 more field, and actually, as we're in winter, I really should be maximising some of our other trades. So this is sometimes when... Too long. Ooh, field too long. There we go. We'll activate those fields in a minute, but I do want to get... Ooh, spin back round. Let's get rid of our fishermen. I do want to get... And let's get rid of our boatyard worker, and let's get people back on wood. Let's just employ a few people there. We've got carpentry. We've got smithy. We've got 500 nails, we don't need 2 smithies, so we'll take 1 off there, and we'll get our warehouse workers back on board. Running additional firewood in, get a couple of warehouse workers there. See if we can really store some stuff there. We need to get another marketplace in to provide a bit more food variety, and someone over there was a bit short of food actually, which is worrying, so I'll just take a closer look at all that. And actually, thinking about it, do you remember I took the labour supply off labour by hands? Let's just put that back on, labour by hands, and I'll just see if that makes a difference. And we'll do that to this as well. And we'll just see if that makes a difference to the food supply. Maybe it's that people just couldn't get enough food. I am seeing the food variety complaint disappear from 1 or 2, 3. Yeah, I think that's our problem. Okay, so we've got plenty of food variety, it's just that we weren't getting it to our market stalls, so that's something really important to make note of. And actually it could be an argument for putting a granary down here and just stocking with 1 each of the items like we did above. So that could be a really good way of centrally sort of organising areas, so we'll keep an eye on that and possibly do it. But I want to activate some of these fields, so we're keeping these on wheat. We've got a manager now, so we can put crop rotation in. And wheat we would couple with, ooh, dare I say buckwheat, but we're going to have an excess of it. But that's cool, because actually, and we'll do fallow for the 3rd year, so we'll couple wheat with buckwheat. But once we get ploughs in, we'll be able to rotate 3 crops, and we'll be able to get it much more consistent. So watch out for that when I put that into place. Potato we will link with buckwheat as well, I'm afraid so. Potato with buckwheat, and we'll do a wheat with buckwheat and a fallow, and then we'll do more potato with buckwheat, more potato to start off with. There we go, with buckwheat. So we've set up all these fields, we'll activate them, so we're ready to roll for next year. And we've got our 3 farms, and that's a real achievement, because that's going to really set us up for food, and actually even more so once we've got each one with a plough. We'll be able to really get a good rotation on those. So the story's not over yet with those, but we're well on our way. we've built our slaughterhouse. Shall we start slaughtering cows, or shall we keep reproducing them? I think we should start slaughtering them, start getting in some money, and then we could always buy some more cows in to fill up all of our cow sheds. We've got a trader. No manager at trading post. It's said briefly there, but I think we may have put one back in. Nothing there that we need. Yeah, the manager's back there. Getting through the salt though, worryingly. They're offering live chicken and demanding sunflower and dried fish, and that's not really something I'm wanting to trade at the moment. But we're going back to our chicken coop, and you can see already we originally ordered in 4 chickens, but we've got 18 hatchlings already, so as soon as they start hatching we're going to be on max chickens, and then soon we'll be making chicken eggs and chicken meat. So let's add these into the marketplace. We've got buckwheat already in one of the other. Yeah, so we can swap buckwheat for chicken eggs, and we can probably swap firewood here for chicken meat. And what a fantastic episode. We will break there and come back, and when we are, we're going to have all sorts of new stuff. We'll get our tannery up and running because we're starting the slaughtering process, and we're going to start the spring season and with some baby cows. So we're going to start slaughtering very soon, I think. We'll get full farms into production with one going fallow every year. We'll make sure we get that into process, and back on the fishing and everything else. So see you soon, folks. Thanks for watching.